Audra, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, if you enjoy chaotic, frenetic energy, you like beauty, you like horror, and a little bit of commentary thrown in between, then I suggest you go on ahead and subscribe for the low price of $0. I will tell you a random fact about myself. Today's random fact: though lactose intolerant, I will still have ice cream and cheese and completely destroy my world. It's worth it. And here are my socials. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the @, thank you for the love. I love interacting with y'all on Twitter. It's so fun. It's so easy. I like the Twitters. I'm old. All right. What are we here with today, Audra? Well, today we're gonna do something a little bit different, and I thought that I would try this. I have notes. I'm trying to be intelligente. This is in reference to the fact that I did this makeup look using the Nomad palette, and to be honest, I butchered the names. So I try to make up for it by randomly throwing in a random Spanish word. I don't even know if that was an actual Spanish word or if it's one of those ones that I made up. Neither here nor there. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is my experience with the rise and fall of beauty subscription boxes. Now, I am doing this purely from the perspective of someone who regularly received them, what they meant to me, and how I see them now. And I'm wondering and hoping that maybe some of you have experienced this, have had the same experience. If it's different, let me know. So let's get started. The beginning of beauty boxes for me, I feel like that started somewhere in 2015, 2016, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe 2014. I can't guarantee the timeline because I don't have my Facebook anymore, and I'm not gonna try to sign in to find out. That's not happening. Okay, all right. So I started with Ipsy. Ipsy was $10, and you got small samples of products, and oftentimes you would usually get one full-size product, which was often a lipstick or an eyeliner, but you would get like one full-size product out of the whole thing. Personally, I think that I speak for a lot of people who got that, where for me, at that point in my life, I had forgotten about self-care and beauty. I was always taking care of my skin, all of that kind of stuff, but I'd kind of let my makeup routine just down, and I had just relegated myself to like putting on a little powder, putting on my eyebrows. I'm always gonna put on my eyebrows because if you didn't know, I have like 34 hairs altogether. So that being said, I always did my eyebrows, and then it was just like eyeliner and a lipstick. And I just started to feel very bored, and also at that time I was married, so I felt like maybe I just wasn't attractive to my partner, and that really wasn't the problem. Anyway, I felt like maybe I wasn't attractive to my partner, and I wasn't attractive to myself, so I was really thinking I needed to try something, but how? And then Ipsy. Ipsy shows up into my world, and I'm thinking this is fan-frickin-tastic. Something for me to get back into beauty without it being super cost intensive. And I suspect large numbers of people felt the same way. $10 was not a lot of money to spend to try products, and basically you're getting sample sizes of all kinds of things, of brands that you wanted to try, foundations, skincare, not a lot of skincare at the beginning of it, but you were getting, you know, moisturizers, you were getting BB creams, you were getting eyebrow pencils, mascara, just little things here and there, a little shadow, a little eyeshadow. It was cool, and it gave you this opportunity to try with and play with new makeup, and also, in my case, to discover new brands. And it totally renewed my love of beauty and makeup, because before marriage, I was a person who did stuff like this. I really enjoyed putting on my makeup. There was a huge camaraderie with friends where we would just stand together and get ready before we went out. This was in college, and we would all just like hang out and do all the things, and then we would just get like smash hammered on the fraternity row. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it reignited my love of beauty, and I was having so much fun with it. Now we move into phase 2. Enter Birchbox into phase 2. Birchbox was about $15. Then you had Glossy Box coming in, and BoxyCharm, both of those at around a $20 price point. However, they were also introducing something that Ipsy did not have, which were full size or deluxe sized products. So now you were in a level where I've been playing with Ipsy, having some fun with my samples, but I was ready to step it up, but I also wasn't ready to like walk into Sephora yet because I didn't have all my know-how. And you know how it is if you go into Sephora and wander around like you don't know what's going on. They are mean and they will eat you alive. But they were boasting full size and deluxe size products. So they also had bigger and better brands. So what started happening here is many makeup brands or cosmetic companies began to realize the value of these subscription services. Once a month, you're getting goodies, and we're all very excited, and everybody loves a present. Who doesn't love a present that you bought yourself? Like, yes. Yes, I don't dislike flowers because I purchased them for myself, and I felt the same about these beauty boxes. And so makeup brands started to realize that this was more than just a small little startup with Ipsy where people were just interested in little bits and pieces. They began to realize the value of doing this. And I also feel like the return on investment was much higher at this point. And I feel like this was around 2016, 2017-ish. The ROI was much higher because I think a lot more of us were willing to go buy things, not only the product that we received, but also other products from the brand, because the products we were getting were great. They were very good. They were in great condition. Nothing was old. Nothing was crusty. I was not having any issues with anything that I received in my box, although the customization really wasn't there as much as it could be, but that started to change as the boxes started to battle with one another. But along with this came beauty YouTube. So beauty YouTube really started to also hype up these subscription boxes. Boxes were now being showcased on various beauty channels. So you had BoxyCharm showing up, Ipsy showing up, and unboxing started to become really, really popular in 2016 and 2017. They just started to become huge. Like unboxing became the thing. And so it was really, really conducive to the business of all of these subscription boxes. I mean, look at what's happening. Look at how they turned around. They went from having a few people talk about it and post it to suddenly they were everywhere. And I know because I was one of the many people that was regularly unboxing them. I remember I started YouTube with some folks who were doing this as well. I think Georgia Sunshine was one of them. Southern Yankee did it as well. So very many people were often unboxing their BoxyCharms, their Ipsys, their Glossy Box, their Birch Box, their Allure Beauty Box, their Tribe Beauty Boxes. Beauty boxes started coming out the ass. Because of this, it started to amp up the demand for the beauty box, all right? So people went from at first just getting the $10 Ipsy bag and having a good time with it and having some fun to really wanting to get almost all of their makeup and beauty products in a subscription box. Why go to the store and feel intimidated by the salespeople or the makeup artists at Sephora and Ulta when you could literally have stuff delivered to your door? And then that way, it also changed the way that you could just go online and order the products yourself. If you got it in a beauty box, you like that mascara, it was so much easier when you ran out to just be like, I'm just gonna go online to Sephora and get it. So the Sephora Play was there as well, and I forgot to mention that, but now I think that's gone.
In addition to this, beauty boxes also became household names. So prior to this, it was kind of like this insider feel, but as it started to grow bigger and bigger on beauty YouTube, it wasn't uncommon to go to work and tell other people that you have Ipsy and they had heard of it too.
So it started to make it easier for the consumer, especially those who have anxiety and those who might feel stressed out just going into a Sephora or an Ulta. All of a sudden, that was null and void. You were getting things in the beauty box. If you liked what they sent you or you really liked the product enough to repurchase, you did. However, there's another problem. Before I get to that problem, I did want to say this. Beauty boxes are what legitimize subscription boxes altogether. And I really think that a lot of people do need to give credit there, because honestly, I feel like up until that point, we really didn't think about putting everything in a subscription box. In fact, because of beauty boxes is the reason that I started subscribing to all kinds of stuff. At one point I had a Jerky Snob subscription. For my husband, I don't eat beef jerky because I don't eat beef, but I had that. There were so many different subscription boxes, and there were like, and still are, websites dedicated to keeping you up to date on the latest subscription boxes. It went from beauty to like clothing, style, men, beards, shaving. Do you like balloons? Do you want to solve a crime? Do you like to knit? Beauty boxes are really what amped up all the rest of these subscription boxes, because previously I think a lot of people thought it was maybe a joke, or it wasn't going to work out, or it wasn't going to go well. So essentially beauty boxes are what legitimized the subscription box realm. In fact, so many regular people just started trying to have subscription boxes. Not saying it went super well, but you did see, and probably still do on some of these websites that are dedicated to it, how you can start your own subscription box, and they'll give you the tools to do so. It's not as easy as one would think, and many went under, but I digress. But also, as all of those boxes started to boom, we now finally started to hit a different point with beauty boxes, and that is the disappointment and also the ROI starting to go down. Even as it started to boom on YouTube and everybody was doing their unboxings and it was really exciting, the issue started to come up that there was quality issues. Even as the boxes started to get bigger, they had to get bigger. There was nowhere else to go. The more and more people that were like, I don't want to go out and purchase beauty products on my own, and I like the surprise, the more that these boxes had to provide. However, many of them did a poor job of providing that. For instance, the first really large Ipsy, I don't know what it's called, the Ultimate, I think it is. That was a bit of a disappointment when they first did it. It did not feel like it was worth $50. And $50 is a lot of money to spend on a beauty box. And this is where I feel like beauty boxes really started to crash and burn, because with the $50 price tag, the expectations went up exponentially. No longer were people going to be satisfied with small sample products. We just weren't. I don't care that I've spent $50, and I don't care that there's something in there that equals or surpasses the $50. The problem is I did not spend $50 to get 75 tiny samples. And that's what it started to feel like, is that they gave you a few big items. Then they were like, oh, here, have a bunch of these samples. And you were like, but like, I paid for this big ass box to not have those, because the Ipsy, the $10 Ipsy that a lot of people still to this day have. But one thing that we fail to keep in mind is that a lot of us don't like, especially beauty lovers, having oodles and oodles and oodles of tiny samples around. They're actually difficult to store in a way that you can see them and use them all the time. Now, at first in my mind, I thought it was great, but that was back in the day when they first started. But now that I have like a whole ass collection, having little tiny samples everywhere actually makes me feel just really stressed out and claustrophobic. Wanting to have those full-size products also gave you more of something to try. I mean, why try a moisturizer when you can literally only get like 4 uses out of it? I mean, 4 uses, it seems great, but for most skincare products, you're gonna need at the very least 2 weeks to see if it's doing anything for you. So of course we wanted those products to be bigger and better and better, and as the boxes started to get bigger and better, well, maybe better is the wrong word. They did get bigger and they did get more expensive, but better definitely wasn't there. We also started to see many issues with the quality in the products. People started to report issues, expired items that came broken, already squished out, the packaging wasn't doing as well, and most importantly, the expectations started to change. For instance, the amount of skincare. Now, I love skincare, and you can just keep handing me as much skincare as you frickin' want to. However, if you are someone who doesn't love skincare, and even if you are someone who does, what starts to get annoying is every 30 days, you're getting a new box. And if you were like me, you got swept up in the beauty box fever, and so you had more than one. Very few people were just getting one box. Now those people do exist, and you may have been one of them, but let me just tell you, the amount of people I knew that had 2 or more of those boxes was high. So this is where that pressure really starts to come on, and of course you're gonna have quality issues. As more people are trying to get the subscription boxes, the boxes are getting bigger, but also we're relying on that, right? Next up though, when you're looking at the small sizes and you're also looking at getting the bigger sizes, while we're very happy to get them, the issue that we run into is we can't possibly use it all. And that's where I was going with the skincare. As much as I love having skincare, it did get a little stressful at times to get like 4 or 5 skincare items in one box and then 2 in another, and before you knew it, you were just piled up in skincare. On top of that came another issue, which was throwing in hair care items, which no one or very few people wanted. You bought a beauty box for makeup. That was the intent for most of us. The large majority of us weren't buying it to get like a new hair straightener, because that's one of those things that I personally think is a personal choice. You're picking a hair straightener based on several factors that you have determined for yourself, like how much heat you want, how much straightening you want, what does it need to be made out of, what kind of materials you like your straightener to be made out of, how the handle is. All of that stuff is very personal, and just getting some random one in a box wasn't really what most people were looking for, and oftentimes that tended to be the item that was over $50. And so if you signed up for these and had been subscribed to beauty boxes for a while, these changes, you definitely notice them. You definitely notice when products smelled weird. And also the biggest issue that I think started to really contribute to the downfall and the lower ROI, which we'll get into a little bit more of that in a minute, but the value of the actual box. So as things started to ramp up and people kept opening these boxes, questions started to arise like, I've never heard of this brand. How is it worth this much money? What's going on here? How come this is hard and crusty? I could not laugh. I couldn't not laugh at that. But with all of those questions, people really started doing their research. Today is the age of the internet, and we want answers now. And a lot of people, myself included, started going on hunts to find out, were these items really worth that? Some of them were, others you could find that you could get it on the actual brand website for cheaper. Some of them, they were already for sale on Mercari, which cheapened its value in the box. To me, some of them are already for sale on Poshmark, again, cheapened its value in the box. I know that there are people who would disagree with me, but the point of the matter is, when you were first getting this, and I remember this when I was first getting this box, it seemed like oftentimes I was getting kind of a new product that they were launching and we're just kind of like testing out, and that's why we were reviewing the products. And then it took a turn to where it's like, we just have extras. Thus, this is why the quality started to go down, because it seemed like a lot of the stuff had been sitting on shelves in a warehouse for a very long time before it made its way to BoxyCharm, before it made its way to Ipsy, before it made its way to Glossybox. Before it made its way there, it had been sitting there for a while. And now you're getting it and it's not great. And the uproars began. On top of that, there were issues with, are these products the same products that we would find on the store shelves? And oftentimes the answer was no. That's not a good way to get people to want to come up off of their money. But in fairness, the ROI had significantly decreased, also because of the fact that if you did have more than one of these beauty boxes, there was no need. You couldn't purchase anything. You started to have more product than you even knew what to do with. So then you start interchanging your boxes, trying to cancel, and cancellation was a bitch. It has since gotten easier, but it used to be very, very difficult to cancel a subscription box, which led to many people getting even angrier about the whole thing. Because when you're done with it and you don't want to get it anymore and you're trying to cancel, and all it'll let you do is place it on hold for a few months because you can't figure out where to cancel, or you have to email. And typically you're trying to do this at some weird time of the day. If you're like me, like you literally go home and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. And you're like walking in the grocery store when you have the bag and you're like, let me try to cancel it. And it just became more and more difficult to do. And you had to jump through hoops like you wouldn't believe just trying to cancel. So this really frustrated a lot of people. And I even heard of some people who would just cancel their card, their debit card, to prevent any more charges going through, and just get a new card and not mess with the box anymore. So of course you have people who are just overwhelmed with products. So you could pause and even cancel. Then there was trying to rotate every other month.
Not to mention, very few of these boxes did a very good job of catering to persons of color. If you were even like slightly over tan, getting complexion products out of these boxes was like trying to get a toddler to go where you wanted them to go. Damn near impossible. It didn't matter if you had cookies, they weren't coming. So it just seemed that you were paying a large amount of money to get a subscription box that just didn't even cater to you. And then it also did change. Obviously, we did start getting boxes that were made specifically for persons of color, but they did have some suffering and some issues where more often than not, they had more difficulty getting brands that people were aware of and knew about. And so a lot of those boxes would not do well. I believe the Essence box was around for a while before it fell apart. And I think Cocotique, I'm not sure if that one still exists. But again, running into products that people have never seen before, especially in the realm of beauty and makeup, didn't do those boxes any favors. While I understand that people like to try new things, it is a little unsettling to pay $30 for a box only to find products from brands you've never heard of. So that made it less appealing for persons of color. Okay.
But in the end, a lot of us, myself included, really started to look at this and go, why am I spending this kind of money? Because when it comes down to it, the value portion of it started to diminish. Also, even if there were things in there that you wanted, for instance, the Lunar Beauty palette, the palette itself, you could just buy the palette. The reality of the situation for a lot of us, especially as we started to get more and more into beauty, and also coincidentally into beauty YouTube, we began to realize that maybe that value didn't correlate the way that we thought it did. For myself, at one point I really thought, oh my gosh, this is such a great deal. But I began to feel that there was a false positive of joy with the box. Like I was happy that I received this box. But at the same time, like it wasn't stuff that I had picked out. And so I wasn't super excited about every single item. And I started to have like a weird sense of guilt that I was spending this kind of money to not be happy with everything. Now I know many people will sit and they will constantly say, hey, as long as you got over the value of what you paid for the box, then you've gotten something out of it. But for me, that's not good enough, because my reality became, as I started to have more makeup, love makeup, and like buying my own makeup, I was really disappointed over and over and over and over again by what was in these beauty boxes. They just started to feel like somebody had phoned it in and was just like, here's some stuff, and chucked it in there, and then they sent it to you. There were a few really cool boxes, but all in all, near the end, I really just started to feel like these were the dregs of product that brands were trying to get rid of, and not exciting and new products like I felt it was at the beginning. Now, it didn't actually have to be that way, but certainly it felt that way for me. And now it really did feel like I was just getting old, crusty stuff that no one wanted or hadn't sold anywhere. And now it was like at my doorstep. So that leads us to where we are now, which is, I think, a large amount of people who were regularly subscribed to these beauty boxes, influencers included, are taking a step back. Because these beauty boxes really got to get their ish together if they want us to continue to enjoy them. For me, I felt like a huge thing that really needed to be paid attention to was the customization. All of these boxes did the same thing with asking you about your preferences, and yet repeatedly, many of us were receiving items that didn't meet that criteria. And I get it, they had to fill the box, right? And it's not gonna meet every ounce of every person's items that they want. But I'd almost rather you give me a credit to purchase something within your little store, like Ipsy has one, BoxyCharm has one. I would almost have rather they've given me a credit rather than send me something that I definitely wasn't going to be into. For instance, almost all of the nude lippies that I received from any of those boxes were hot garbage on my lips. This is a nude lip for a brown girl. Do you see? Do you see how it's like peachy and fun? I just want to show, this one's from Mented. I'm just gonna put a little extra here right in the middle and be like, see? You see how that's like peachy and just a little bit, oh. Sorry, I'm making those weird little oh noises, but this is a nude lip for me. One of the colors. Not that weird Tyrone Bigham's thing that they kept sending me. Especially when you said you didn't want skincare and you rated that as like the lowest possible thing, and yet your box still had 3 items of skincare. You're just sitting there like, I am drowning in skincare, and that's the whole reason I changed how much I wanted of this item, and yet here it comes again. So I feel like that's a thing that they really have to fix, is curating those boxes, and I don't know how to fix that, but I just think if they don't get that squared away, they're gonna continue to lose more and more people, because at some point you start looking and you have 85,000 black felt eyeliner pins, and how many more of those can you have? Honestly, you can't use all of them. And I have oodles of eyeliner. I'm not one to like make jokes, but I've definitely decluttered quite a bit of my eyeliner, and I'm a little bit more careful about buying like black eyeliner pens, for instance. I already have a few that I like. There's zero reason for me to buy another one, except for one. There's one more I've got to get, and I've got to try it out for a very specific reason. Also, with YouTubers just not having a good time with it anymore, I believe Laura May Beauty has canceled. I think Linda from Glitter Fallout is considering, and I believe Jen Loves is taking a break from BoxyCharm as well. So very many of these creators who have for long periods of time done a BoxyCharm or an Ipsy or just a beauty box in general unboxing have let that go. Not only for themselves, but also because we, the audience, because I'm gonna include myself in that because I also watch YouTube, I'm completely uninterested in watching several people unbox these. Why? Well, once PR got involved in this, there were so many people who would get it beforehand that by the time it filters down, it's just like, and as a creator who used to unbox them, I'll definitely tell you, it started to become a pain in my ass to even do the video because all those other people got it and there's only so many variations of the boxes. So by the time it gets down to me, who wants to watch me unbox it at this point? Like they've seen 52 of them at this point. Honestly, once you've seen like 2 or 3 people unbox it, you've seen all of it. So I don't know where beauty boxes can go from here, but my hope is up. I hope that they change and go back to what made them great in the first place. Maybe start working with more independent brands. I'm not sure, but they've got to figure something else out because eventually we're all just gonna be tired of it and we're all just gonna be out here buying our makeup the old fashioned way. All right, that is it. That is my somewhat researched. I hope that you enjoyed this video, this style. I just kind of wanted to do some research and talk about it. I've talked about it a little bit in lives, but I just really kind of wanted to have it have its own place and its own video. All right, huge shout out to my patrons. Yeah. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And remember, it costs $0 to be kind. It's good for your soul. And until next time, deuces! I'm gonna take a breath. Whew, oh my gosh. So glad that guy decided to drive by as fast as he fucking could. Ass clown. Research is hard. I can't believe I hit on my points and I sounded somewhat smart.